Welcome to the True Detectives podcast, everyone. Buckle up because we've got another wild story for you tonight. A case that starts out normal enough but quickly spirals into something truly bizarre.
The kind of investigation that makes you question what's real and what's just plain weird, right?
Exactly. And tonight we're diving headfirst into a case file you guys sent us. It's labeled The Rabbit Hole, a pretty fitting title when you consider what Detective Maggie and this unusual partner end up uncovering.
It's a case that starts with a string of disappearances, seemingly impossible vanishings that leave even the most seasoned detectives scratching their heads. And then enter Mr. Walker, a UFO-obsessed blogger who claims to have the answers.
Oh, this is where it gets really interesting. Our by-the-book detective, Maggie. She's faced with these missing people, no leads, zero clues, and suddenly she's got this, shall we say, enthusiastic blogger claiming aliens are involved. I mean, what would you do in that situation? How do you even begin to process something like that?
Well, you have to remember, these vanishings were anything but ordinary. People weren't just missing. They were gone without a trace. No signs of struggle, no abandoned vehicles, no messages, no nothing. It's the kind of scenario that suggests something far beyond your typical run-of-the-mill crime.
Right, and that's precisely why Maggie, despite her initial skepticism, I mean, come on, a UFO blogger, she finds herself drawn into this rabbit hole. The lack of any other leads, the sheer impossibility of these disappearances, it forces her to consider every angle, even the ones that sound completely out there.
So walk us through this initial encounter. What's the dynamic like between Detective Maggie and Mr. Walker?
Picture this. Maggie's at her desk, poring over case files, the frustration mounting with each passing hour, and bam! The door swings open, and in bursts Mr. Walker, this whirlwind of nervous energy, waving a crumpled map in her face. He's practically shouting, "They're covering it up, detective! It's all connected!"
And this map, what is it exactly? Some kind of extraterrestrial treasure map?
Not quite, though I'm sure Walker wished it were. It's this mess of lines, scribbles, and symbols that look like something a kindergartner might draw. Maggie's initial reaction, well, let's just say she wasn't exactly convinced. She sees this as another one of Walker's wild conspiracy theories, a waste of her already precious time.
But there's a turning point, right? Something that compels Maggie to actually take Walker and this map seriously. What is it?
It's a combination of things. First, the disappearances continue. It's like people are literally being plucked off the streets and there's still no logical explanation. Second, Walker, despite his eccentric methods, he's persistent. He keeps showing up, presenting these theories, these connections that, while strange, start to align with certain details of the case. And finally, there's this gut feeling Maggie has. She's a seasoned detective, and something about these vanishings just doesn't fit. It's like a puzzle where all the pieces are the wrong shape.
So she decides to entertain Walker's theory, to see if there's any substance to his claims. What does this unlikely partnership look like in action?
It's a complete clash of styles. You have Maggie, this methodical, by-the-book detective, used to dealing in hard evidence and concrete facts. And then you have Walker, operating on intuition, hunches, and this unshakable belief in the existence of, well, let's just say things beyond our normal understanding.
And their investigation, how does it unfold? Do they manage to find any concrete leads from this chaotic mix of logic and, well, let's call it unconventional thinking?
Surprisingly, yes. As Maggie starts to dissect Walker's theories, to break them down and compare them to the facts of the case, a pattern begins to emerge. Walker's rambling about symbols, energy fields, and government cover-ups, it starts to coalesce around a specific location, a dilapidated, abandoned estate on the outskirts of town.
An abandoned estate, huh? That certainly sounds like the setting for some strange happenings. What's the history of this place?
Well, let's just say it had a reputation. Locals whispered stories about the former owner, a reclusive scientist who was rumored to be conducting some pretty unusual, some would even say unethical, experiments. There are tales of strange lights in the sky, hushed-up accidents, and people who went to work at the estate and were never seen again. It was the kind of place that parents warned their kids to stay away from.
The kind of place that would send shivers down your spine, especially in the context of these disappearances. So what happens when Maggie and Walker arrive at the estate? Do they find any evidence to support their theories?
You know, it's Walker, the UFO enthusiast, who actually makes the first breakthrough. He spots a faint marking etched into the moss-covered wall of one of the outbuildings, and get this, it matches one of the symbols from his crumpled map. Now, even Maggie, the skeptic, has to admit there's something strange going on here.
That's a pretty compelling piece of evidence. A seemingly random symbol from a UFO blogger's map, matching a marking on the wall of a creepy abandoned estate. It definitely connects the dots in a way that's hard to ignore.
And this discovery leads them to a door, a heavy, rotting wooden door that's bolted shut. Maggie, her detective instincts kicking in, she presses her ear against the wood and hears it. Faint cries, muffled sounds of distress coming from inside. It's at that moment that she realizes this isn't about aliens or government conspiracies. This is something far more real, far more terrifying.
So they break into this locked room. What do they find inside?
It's a scene straight out of a nightmare. The room is dimly lit, filled with strange equipment, muggling beakers, and the air is thick with a chemical stench. And then they see them. People strapped to these makeshift operating tables, hooked up to wires and tubes, their eyes wide with terror. And in the center of it all, standing over a table, is a man Maggie recognizes from an old photograph, Dr. Ellis, the scientist who vanished 20 years ago.
It sounds like they've stumbled onto something truly sinister. What's Dr. Ellis's reaction to being discovered? Does he try to explain what's going on?
Oh, he explains, all right. But his explanation is more of a deranged rant. He's manic, his eyes wild, talking about unlocking the secrets of evolution, transcending the limitations of the human form. He calls Maggie and Walker fools for interfering with his masterpiece, his next evolution of mankind. And as if to prove his point, he gestures towards a shadowy figure lurking in the corner.
What is this next evolution? What does this shadowy figure look like?
Well, it's unlike anything Maggie or Walker have ever seen before. It's humanoid, but its skin shimmers with this unnatural luminescence, and its movements are jerky, almost inhuman. It's a being that seems to defy the laws of nature, a living, breathing embodiment of Dr. Ellis's twisted experiments.
So they're trapped in this lab with a mad scientist and his
Mm-hmm.
his creation. What happens next? How do they escape this nightmare?
It's Walker, believe it or not, who takes the initiative. He's always carrying this slingshot, for protection against government drones, or so he says. And in a moment of sheer brilliance, he uses it. He fires a ball bearing, a single, perfectly aimed shot that shatters a vial of some volatile chemical. The lab erupts in chaos.
Wow, a slingshot saves the day. Talk about being prepared for anything.
Right. The creature, startled by the explosion, goes into a frenzy. Beakers shatter, chemicals mix, creating a cloud of noxious fumes. Maggie, seeing their chance, grabs Walker and yells, "Run!" They make a dash for the exit, dodging flying debris and the creature's flailing limbs, their escape illuminated by the growing inferno behind them.
It's a chaotic, desperate flight to freedom. Do they make it out of the lab alive?
They do, but just barely. They stumble out into the night, coughing and gasping for air, the heat of the fire licking at their heels. They watch as the lab and everything inside is consumed by the flames. Dr. Ellis's secrets, his twisted experiments, all reduced to ashes.
So the immediate threat is gone. The missing people have been found. But it sounds like this investigation leaves them with more questions than answers. What's the lasting impact of this experience, especially on Maggie?
You hit the nail on the head. Maggie's back in her office, but she's changed. The world doesn't seem quite so black and white anymore. She's staring at the charred remains of Walker's map, and there's one symbol that's still visible, a symbol that's identical to a marking she saw in Dr. Ellis's lab. It makes her wonder, was Ellis working alone? Was there a larger organization behind his experiments? And what exactly was he trying to achieve with his next evolution of mankind?
That's a chilling thought. It suggests that the rabbit hole goes much deeper than they initially imagined. It opens up a whole new world of possibilities, of hidden agendas and forces at play that are beyond our comprehension.
And that's what makes this case so fascinating, so unsettling. It's a reminder that the world is full of mysteries, of things that exist just beyond the edge of our understanding. And sometimes it's the most unlikely partnerships, the clashes between logic and intuition that lead us to the truth, however bizarre or terrifying it may be.
And that, my friends, is why we love to delve into these true detective stories. They challenge our perceptions, force us to question the known, and remind us that there's always more to uncover, always another layer to peel back.
If tonight's investigation has sparked your curiosity, and let's face it, how could it not? We encourage you to delve deeper into the world of unsolved mysteries, the world where the line between fact and fiction blurs, and where the truth can be far stranger and more terrifying than we ever imagined. Thanks for joining us on this journey down the rabbit hole. And remember, out there in the darkness, the truth is waiting to be discovered. Rate and follow the True Detectives podcast, and we'll see you next time for another unbelievable story.
Stay curious, everyone.
And stay safe.